Hello, friends, and welcome to your weekly meditation. So, find yourself in an upright posture. Let's just dig right in. I think we've been together enough, and if you're new, you'll figure it out, right? That elongated spine. I also call it the neutral spine. And really, what we're trying to do is we're trying to find the natural curves of the spine. And hopefully, that way the bones can stack upon each other, right? There is space so that all of those nerves and veins and vessels and everything that runs into and through our spinal column has space to do its job, right? I like to call it the super highway. And so that's a little bit of technical kind of speak, but then ultimately, right, find a long spine and find softness around it. And I'm going to bring your awareness into your eyes. So as each of us pays attention to our eyelids are closed the whole time. But we're just tuning in and seeing if we can't find softness around the eyes. And even though the eyelids are closed, this soft focus, almost as if you were staring off into space. And we've been adding in lately, remembering what it's like to look through eyes of kindness. And if it helps you to think of a loved one, whatever being that might be, a plant, an animal, a human, etc. Something that you look at with kindness, maybe just imagining that you're looking at that being. And then bring your awareness to your mouth, the inside of the mouth. And can you get a felt sense of your tongue, your teeth, your gums, your palate, your jaw? Maybe imagine that the corners of your mouth are turning up into a smile. Bring your awareness into your heart center. And we can keep it on the surface of the skin if that's the most helpful tool for you, a place where you can sense and feel this area. But maybe you can bring it a little further into the body and you can sense the beating of the heart and tune into your heartbeat. Or maybe you can tune into the movement of the lungs. And I want you to imagine that energy that starts in the heart and the lungs, moves all the way out across the body, over to the shoulders and down through the arms, fingers, and hands. Anatomically, right? Those are the nerves that run out of that part of the spine, innervate all the way down through your arms, hands, and fingers. But I'm awfully interested in the fact that our hands are symbolic for our heart, right? Where we give and receive. Maybe you feel energy in the palm of your hands. For many of us, it's the place we can feel it. Mm, I'll say deepest. And what I mean by that is the brain is used to that, right? It brings awareness to the hands a lot every single day. So we have neurons that fire from the hands up to the brain. So just sense that energy in the palm of your hands. Now I want you to bring your awareness to the base of your nostrils. And we're going to start to work with the breath and also this idea of prana, we call it in yoga, chi, it's called in, Buddhism, ki or chi in acupuncture, traditional Chinese medicine. So you've probably heard the term before. I'm going to work with prana since that's my school, but it's the vital life force energy. So from the base of the nostrils, I want you to imagine that every time you inhale, that prana is coming up from your nostrils all the way up to between your eyebrows. Just set back just a little bit into the skull. And when you exhale, you're going to exhale from between the eyebrows down and out through the nostrils. And you're just going to continue to follow that and imagine that every time you inhale, you're bringing prana in through your nostrils to your eyebrow center. And every time you exhale from the eyebrow center, down and out through the nostrils. And let's give the mind that to concentrate on for now. I like to point out landmarks along the way. When we move up by your eyebrow center, in modern medical science, right, we talk about the prefrontal cortex, that part of the brain that holds our executive functioning, where we have ration and reason and empathy, compassion, forgiveness, all of those things, right? They come from this area, from the executive function in the prefrontal cortex. In yoga, we talk about this being the third eye center, or the Ajna chakra, the place of intuition and perspective, discerning truth from fiction, right? Discerning enough to be able to make really wise decisions for ourselves. So imagine you're bringing that vital life force energy up and just charging this area with really powerful, amazing, restorative, rejuvenative energy. And then the next time that you bring your awareness up there to the third eye center, that eyebrow center, you're going to leave it right there and try to now stay steady with it. If you find the mind is moving really quickly and rapidly away and you're getting frustrated, you can go back to moving it on the breath. But if you can leave it right there, right in between your eyebrows. Maybe imagine the color indigo. And if there's another color that comes to you, I always say work with the color that you're naturally or intuitively finding there. But if you don't already have a color, imagine color indigo. You might even see that color behind your eyelids. Soft focus, soft gaze. And we're going to move our awareness, but before we do, I'm going to give you another landmark, right? So I want you to imagine that there's a line between your eyebrows all the way to the back of the head. And then there's a second line that goes from above one of your ears to above the other ear. And there's a place where those in general, right, intersect. So start to slide your awareness from between your eyebrows back towards the back of the head on that first line until you intersect the line that goes above your ears. And in my school, we call this the center of the mind. Right, so you're going to leave your awareness right there in the center of the mind, just a little deeper in than that superficial eyebrow center. But it's the same idea, right? This is where we have discernment, perspective, intuition. And as it was described to me, and I love working with this is the place where nobody else's voice gets to come into your world, right? This is your place, just you, your inner guru or your seat of the soul or whatever you'd like to call it. None of those voices from your past, from past loved ones or parents or nuns or teachers, right? Nobody else's voice is in there but yours. And so you may or may not have a decision that you're currently working with. But if you are, maybe while you're here in this space, just sitting with it and not having the expectation of an answer or pressure or anything like that, but just bringing up that decision, right? Whether that's staying with someone or whether or not you're going to move or what's happening at your job, right? It can be anything. No pressure, right? But just starting to let that live in this space where you don't have other people pressuring you, right? This is your space. And if you don't have a current decision that you're working with or thing you're observing or looking at, maybe just setting the intention while you're here that when you do have those things come up, you take the time to sit in stillness without distraction and come to this space to sit with the question. And the mind gets distracted as it always does, and that's okay. Just really gently invite the mind back into this center of the mind. If you've never worked here, it can be really deep and profound, but it can also be scary to actually listen to your own voice if you haven't done a lot of it. Yeah? And that's okay. Maybe all you're doing today is getting familiar and meeting that inner voice for the first time. We've done the self-compassion Tonglen meditation before. This is where I believe that true friend aspect lives, right? And also the wounded aspect, but I'm going to focus on the true friend aspect, that part of you that knows everything you've been through, all your aspirations, your dreams, your hopes, your fears, your anger, that mean thing you did to so and so, but also that kind and loving thing you did. It knows everything and loves you just as you are and wants to support you. Coming back each time and giving ourselves grace, knowing that we're here, we're showing up in right effort, is what the Buddhists call it. And of course, if you have more than one question that you're working with, feel free to bring those other questions into play. And again, not putting the pressure on ourselves to come up with answers right here and right now, but just starting to introduce those questions so that we can discern, right, truth from illusion to determine what's the right way to move forward. And before we end this meditation, let's do one more thing. Remember that color indigo? Unless you have a color you're working with that came to you, that's wonderful, right? But imagine that indigo filling this space, the center of the mind, that place we've been. And then I want you to imagine, right? So the chakra system runs right in front of the spinal column, but we're going to use the spinal column as if it's a bamboo flute. And we're going to send that indigo, that energy, all the way down, right? Into the spinal cord, through the spinal cord, down into your tailbone, and send it all the way down like a taproot into the earth. Yes, this is visualization and imagination, you betcha. And then also take that indigo color, that energy that we're creating in this space, and send it up through the crown of the head and let it reach up and out of your body towards the cosmos. And so that we have this beautiful exchange. We're connected both to that beautiful light, airy quality above us, that ether, cosmic energy, and it can come down into and through us towards the earth, but also that earth, that heavy, dense, grounded, stable quality, right, comes up through us. And for today, since we're working with the third eye chakra, intuition, perspective, discernment, we're working with the color indigo. So if you have a decision that you have to make at any point in time, this personally, for me, has been an extremely useful tool coming to this space, sitting with the decision, listening to my intuition. And of course, the other part is following through with what your intuition tells you. So maybe just take a moment, bring your awareness into your solar plexus, because that's where we draw boundaries. That's where we have our confidence, our willpower, right? That's that beautiful, brilliant yellow, golden yellow sun. And maybe even put a hand on that area just above the navel, knowing that whatever the intuition tells you, you do, you can, right? Have the energy to take care of yourself. Bring those hands together in front of the heart. It's called Anjali Mudra, or sometimes Namaste hands. Inhale, keep that chest lifted, but bow your head into your heart. And just taking a moment and giving yourself so much love for showing up, for being here. Remembering to look through those eyes with kindness as much as possible throughout the day. Remembering to turn those corners of the mouth up, even if you don't mean it. When you smile, they've done scientific research, the chemistry in your brain changes for the positive. And with that heart, some of us, we need to remember to give a little more. Some of us, we need to receive a little more and give a little less, right? So whichever is going to balance you. Awesome. That one. Namaste, friends.